Do you know there exists a creature on this planet that weighs almost nothing, lives for only a few weeks or months, yet teaches us the most important lessons about wealth, success, and planning for the future? That creature is the ant. Here's what makes it fascinating. Ants have no bank account, no degree, no business plan, yet they do something that most humans consistently fail to do. They never live just for today. They always think about tomorrow. And that is the secret of why they always win. Today, we're going to follow the journey of one small ant. But this is not just a story about an insect. This is a story about you, about me, and about our financial future. Stay until the end because the final lesson might completely change the way you think about money. One warm morning, as the first rays of sunlight touched the earth, a tiny ant stepped out of her colony. Her world is nothing like ours. Where we see a single blade of grass, she sees an enormous forest. Where we see a single drop of water, she sees an entire lake. But she is not afraid. She has no guarantees waiting for her out there. She doesn't know if she'll find food today. Yet she walks out anyway, because she understands something most of us forget: sitting still guarantees nothing. A little while later, she finds a crumb of biscuit lying on the ground. Compared to her tiny body, it's enormous. She tries to lift it. She tries again and again, but she can't do it alone. So she goes back, not to give up, but to get help. Within minutes, several more ants arrive. Together, they lift the crumb and carry it home. What was impossible alone became effortless together. And in that single moment, the ant teaches us the first great lesson: the right team turns impossible into inevitable. Most people believe that becoming wealthy requires something extraordinary: a brilliant business idea, a viral moment, a lucky lottery ticket, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But nature tells a very different story. Ants never build their colony in a single day. They add one grain of sand, then another, day after day, season after season, year after year. The lives of truly wealthy people work exactly the same way. From the outside, we see the results: the big house, the nice car, the comfortable life. But what we don't see are the thousands of small, correct decisions made over years and decades. One unnecessary expense cut, one extra amount saved, one new skill learned, one good habit maintained. Success is rarely dramatic. Success is usually, boringly, consistent. The ant doesn't wait for a perfect day to work. She doesn't wait for the ideal conditions. She works today with what she has, where she is. And that quiet consistency is exactly what most people underestimate and what the ant never forgets. During summer, ants work harder than at any other time of year, not because they are hungrier in summer, but because they know winter is coming. What's remarkable is that they cannot see the future. No ant has ever looked at a calendar. No ant has ever checked a weather forecast. Yet every single ant prepares for a future she cannot see. That is true intelligence, not predicting the future, but being ready for it. One of the biggest financial mistakes people make is assuming that today's conditions will last forever. I have a job today, so everything is fine. My business is running today, so I have nothing to worry about. Money is coming in today, so I don't need to save. But life has never promised permanence. Economies shift, jobs disappear, health changes, circumstances turn without warning. The ant understood this truth long before any human economist wrote it in a book. The summer of your life, the years when income flows easily, when opportunities are plenty, that is precisely when you should be preparing the hardest. Not spending more, saving more, not relaxing the discipline, strengthening it. Because summer never lasts forever. How much food can a single ant carry in one day? Almost nothing by our standards. An amount so small we might not even notice it. But when thousands of ants do the same small thing every single day, the result becomes extraordinary. This is the compound effect, a force that works slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. But given enough time, it produces results that seem almost miraculous. Imagine saving just a small amount every single day. On day 1, nothing changes. After 1 week, nothing remarkable happens. After 1 month, the difference still looks small. But after several years, after a decade, the picture transforms completely. Most people underestimate the compound effect because it is slow. It doesn't give you the thrill of a sudden win. It doesn't feel exciting in the beginning. But the ant never needs excitement to keep working. She trusts the process. She shows up every day, and the process rewards her every time. The most powerful financial force available to any person is not a high-paying job or a lucky investment. It is the boring, reliable, unstoppable power of doing small things correctly, every single day, without exception. One afternoon, a line of ants was carrying food back to the colony. Everything was moving smoothly. Then, without warning, a large stone fell across their path. The road was completely blocked. What happened next is one of the most important things science has observed about ants. They didn't sit down in despair. They didn't complain about the unfairness of it. They didn't say, "Today is just not our day." They looked for another route. When that route was blocked, they found another. They adapted, adjusted, and moved forward until they reached home. There is a profound financial lesson buried in that moment. Everyone faces obstacles. Investments lose value. Businesses fail. Jobs end unexpectedly. Markets crash. Plans fall apart. The difference between people who eventually succeed and those who don't is almost never about talent, intelligence, or luck. It is about what they do when the road is blocked. One person stops, the other looks for a new path. The ant never wastes time mourning the blocked road. She spends that energy finding the open one. And that single difference in response is what separates those who build wealth over time from those who never quite get there. One of the defining problems of our time is that everyone wants results immediately. Get rich fast. Succeed overnight. Build a following in a week. Retire in a year. But look at nature's most successful creatures. The bamboo tree, the ant, the honeybee. None of them rush. None of them cut corners. All of them trust the process completely. Ants don't know what tomorrow holds. They don't know if the weather will turn, if a predator will arrive, if the colony will face a challenge. They only know one thing with absolute certainty: today's work must be done today. That is all they focus on. Financial freedom works exactly the same way. One slightly better decision today. One small act of discipline this week. One degree of improvement this month. These tiny steps feel meaningless in isolation, but compounded over years, they create a gap so wide between where you are and where you could have been that it becomes almost difficult to believe. Patience is not passive. Patience is not waiting and hoping. Real patience is continuing to act correctly. Every single day, even when you cannot yet see the result. The ant has practiced this for 50 million years. It has never failed her yet. Many people define wealth as money, but the ant teaches us something different. Her real wealth is not the food stored in the colony, though that food is important. Her real wealth is what cannot be taken from her. Discipline, cooperation, patience, planning. Habits that function regardless of how she feels on any given morning. The same is true for people. Money can disappear. A job can end. A business can collapse. A market can wipe out a portfolio overnight. But if you have built the right habits, the habits of saving before spending, of learning before earning, of preparing before the crisis arrives, you can always begin again. Because the real source of wealth is never a bank balance. The real source of wealth is the character that created it. Build the character first. The balance will follow. And if it ever disappears, the character will build it again. Winter came to the forest. Food became scarce. Many creatures struggled. Some who had spent the summer in ease and comfort now found themselves desperate, searching for resources that no longer existed. But the ant colony was calm. There was no panic inside those tunnels, no crisis meetings, no desperate scrambling, because they had prepared not for the summer they were living in, but for the winter they knew was coming. And this is where the deepest financial truth of all reveals itself. Successful people do not predict the future. They prepare for it. That is the entire difference. You don't need to know when the next economic downturn will happen. You don't need to predict when you might lose your job, face a health emergency, or encounter an unexpected expense. You only need to prepare as if it could happen, because at some point it will. The ant doesn't know when winter arrives, but she is never surprised by it. The next time you see an ant moving across the ground, don't just see a small insect doing small things. See a symbol of discipline. See a symbol of patience. See a symbol of what it looks like to build something real, one small action at a time. Because the ant teaches us what no financial course, no investment seminar, and no self-help book can fully capture. Great success does not come from great leaps. Great success comes from thousands of small steps, taken consistently without giving up. One right decision today, one amount saved this week, one new skill this month, one unnecessary expense avoided today. These things may feel insignificant right now, but just like the ant, just like the colony that survives every winter, because it prepared through every summer, these small actions will one day become your future. Nature's smallest teacher carries its greatest lesson. Victory belongs to those who keep moving forward, a little every day. And that is why, without exception, without failure, across 50 million years of history, ants always win.